Greetings, Masandawana. Greetings, Luna Mapakania. Welcome to another installment at the Yellow Corner. We are back and we are bringing you the preview of the big one for the weekend. The mighty Mamelodi Sundowns traveling to the south of Johannesburg to take on Orlando Pirates in the Betway Premiership game week 23 on Sunday afternoon at 3:30. And as you can see, I'm joined by a Mamelodi Sundowns diehard, Muyemedi. Muyemedi, how's it, my brother?
Azo, how are you, my brother?
No, good, man. Welcome back, eh?
Thank you. All good from my side. Still alive, and thank you for inviting me again to this beautiful podcast channel. Man. Ever
No.
growing.
Thank you very much. It's growing because of people like you, my man. Eh? And I'm glad to have you got this big game here over the weekend. But before we get into it, I think there's only one place where we need to start. I think we need to start by congratulating a legend of this club. I think the word legend is widely used and loosely used at times, but when it comes to Peter Shalulile, I think he's befitting of that tag, a legend, not just the Mamelodi Sundowns, but a PSL legend, an average of almost a goal every second game, man. It is amazing, man. So congratulations to Peter Shalulile on getting his 100th goal for Mamelodi Sundowns, and a lot of those goals, man, have been so crucial because they've meant we win something. The AFL goal comes to mind, him being the top goal scorer 3 times. So what an achievement for Peter. And yeah, thank you very much to Peter for all those goals and his hard work for the club, man, his dedication for the club, man. Big ups to Peter, man. I don't know if there's anything you want to add as well, maybe.
Yeah, thanks, Azo. Look, man, Peter, I think he definitely reserved his seat on the big table, the table of the legends of Mamelodi Sundowns. I was having a chat with one of my friends, and I said to him, Sundowns must start considering honoring these legends very seriously. I don't know how they'll do it. Probably maybe have some sort of stages in Clorkop, not the very big stages, but legends like your Mambush and legends like your Fire Masidel. I think Peter has inducted himself into the legend status of Mamelodi Sundowns. Peter has done very well for himself, has done very well for the club, and I congratulate him, Peter, and I'm happy for him and his family for him to reach this landmark of goals, of 100 goals. So I was a bit sad, Aizo, when I had the news that Peter might leave, sometimes beginning of the season. I was very sad. I was very sad that, I thought Peter will match Manbush record or break it or break Nonve, the all-time PSL top goal scorer. So I'm glad Peter bounced back, and he bounced back very strong. And those rumors have since washed away. So I'm very happy for him also, and all the best to him, man.
Yeah, man. I had even forgotten regarding the rumors. They were quite disturbing. But like you said, we both hope they've died down, man. Let's get into our game against the Pirates, or just talking about Pirates in general. Was this or is this their best chance to win the league, Mehmet?
Yo, also, um, I, I really don't know how to respond to that question. When you say it's the best chance or this was the big chance for them to win the league, I'm actually looking at the points. Paris, they are currently 18 points behind Mamelodi Sundowns. Yes, I know they still have games in hands. However, games in hands, it doesn't mean points in the back. So you saw what happened with them in past games, against Gallant and against Stellenbosch, but other than that, Pirates themselves against their own records, I think Pirates has done very well, this season. I think we should applaud them. Pirates have never in PSL history win their first 7 games. They have won first 7 games. They just drawn now against Stellenbosch. They never had a draw. This time, any season in the past, Pirates would have a number of losses and a number of draws. So actually, in my opinion, I think they did very well. Yes. Under normal circumstances, this was the best chance for Pirates to pose a serious league challenge. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that they're competing against a club like Mamelodi Sundowns, which looks at 70 plus points or 65 plus points, for the league. Look at last season, we were on 73 points. So I think, in my opinion, if Mamelodi Sundowns was not there, Pirates was going to dominate this very easily. Look at number 2, the difference in points between number 2 and number 3, just to affirm what I'm saying. That Paris, it's just unfortunate, a club like Mamelodi Sundowns in this league. But nevertheless, I think the guys did very well for themselves, and congratulations to them. They're doing even well in CAF Champions League. I mean, they never lost a game in the group stages, and I just hope they can proceed further.
Absolutely, Ben. We share the same sentiments. I think one would have thought this was going to be their best chance, or is their best chance to win the league. When you look at a few factors, one, like the one that you mentioned, how they started the season, this is their best start in the PSL era, and then you look at the situation here, Sundowns, the coaching changes, not just one coaching change at the end of last season going into the new season, but during the season as well, losing 2 coaches who've been at Sundowns for the longest time, so you're thinking maybe that would have destabilized Sundowns, but the winning mentality, Sundowns, and the quality that we have is getting us over the line, and I think this was supposed to be their best chance to win the league. When you also look at the fact that Rivero, I always mess up their names. Jose Rivero might be leaving at the end of this season, So if he leaves, they will need to get a new coach going into the next season. Whereas Coach Cardoso didn't have a preseason with the team, and he will have a proper preseason with the team and instill his style, teaming going into the new season. So I think this was their best chance, a chance to win the league. And it's one of those, they are not going to win it, not because they are bad, but it's just that they are up against a points machine, like their coach said last year, April. Speaking on Cardoso, how lucky are we to have this guy as our coach? He's only been at Sundowns for less than 6 months now, but you already see where this club is going and what he wants from his team. You can see the type of coach that he is. So how lucky are we to have him as our coach? Because I think we are very, very, very lucky. Because I think this guy, his management skills are second to none. He's tactically astute. His game management skills, in-game management skills, are also up there with some of the best. And 3 weeks ago, I was watching a podcast, The Overlap on YouTube, with Gary Level, Paul Scholes, and Jamie Carragher. And they had their tactics guy, I think his name is Harrison, and he mentioned football is a cycle, and right now, a lot of teams are going back to being more direct, they are moving away from positional play, they are now more obsessed about getting behind the opposition defense as quick as possible, and we saw it against Ronald Pirates. We relinquished possession, and but we still won the game. So did Slot when Liverpool played Manchester City. He relinquished possession, but still won the game. And I look at Cardoso, and I'm like, okay, it's so refreshing and great to have a coach who can also do this. Cardoso can play positional football, but he can also say, "No, you can have the ball. I will hit you once I regain possession." And this brings me so much joy knowing we have a coach who doesn't only have just one style of play, but he has multiple ways of killing the opponents. Your thoughts?
Look, I think we are very blessed. We're very blessed to have a coach like Cardoso, a coach with this experience and competencies. So I had a chat with one of the PSL coaches, the coach that spent a lot of time in amateur football or development football, and that coach was coaching the PSL beginning of the season. He's no longer coaching in PSL. Ask him about his honest opinion about Cardoso after the first games. Remember the first games that we were winning scrappy.
Yeah.
The players, all that, and we started having conversations. Like we always do amongst us. So that guy gave me hope. The coach that I'm speaking about. That coach said to me, he referred me to the interview that Cardoso did with when he was welcomed at Lord Cop. So remember when he was mentioning that his when he was introducing his team and saying that he's going to be focusing on the defense, and assistant Coach Joao will concentrate on the attack. I didn't remember that, but I went back to those recordings and I found exactly what he was saying. The football people or football community, they follow these things to the teeth. They read about them and they listen to them and they never forget. And he took me back to the games that we played also, just to show me the tactical attitude of Coach Cardoso, his strategy, his game preparation, in terms of the man doesn't play the occasion, he plays the game. So you'll find, yeah, you'll find that in a game that Coach Cardoso is masterclass of reading the game. Tactically is very strong, and he's a man who likes to enforce discipline. When you look at him, he's a man who likes to enforce discipline, but discipline in the right way. He enforces it in the right way, creating the good relationship with the players and that friendly relationship, however, delivering through them. So you'll find a lot of games that Cardoso won from the bench. A lot of games that Cardoso different formations. He approached the game in a certain way, but during the game, he's able to change it. Even in first half, we have seen him making changes already twice in first half, not because of injuries, but tactical changes, and eventually wins those games. And you'll see success rate, in terms of winning the game from the bench. The main success rate is over 99%. He won all majority of the games from the bench. So I think we are blessed with the man with this type of experience. And I wish we had him early, but they say never than late. You understand? So Coach Cardoso, I remember when we got beaten by his club, and also when we got beaten by Wydad, especially Wydad. I believe if we had a man like him, we would be able to have proceeded to the finals. He would have managed, that game very well, especially with that one where we led twice, 1-0 and 2-1, when the guys equalized within the last 10 minutes. So, and the last thing that really I do love about him, when I said the man plays the game, not the occasion, I love how he conducts interviews. I know people are different. Coaches are different. They approach interviews in a different way. But I feel like in the past, we were putting the spotlight and pressure on ourselves, because we were going too detailed in opponent capabilities and all that. It doesn't mean he doesn't know. He has his own analysts, and he also analyzes. He knows opposition players, their strength, and even their names. But he likes focusing on his team. And he spends most of his time preparing his club, and he approaches all these games differently. From the demand of the game, he'll prepare accordingly. So I believe also we have a good coach, Aizo. We are very blessed.
Yeah, no, we really are. We are blessed indeed, man. Last time we played Pirates, I think I did preview a game here, perhaps, if I'm not mistaken. And we came to the conclusion now, because we had seen how Pirates started. We came to the conclusion now, beating the team that you're competing for the league with might be the difference come May, when the league is decided, and we're able to win that game that we played against Bona when we hosted them at Loftus. Do we need to beat them on Sunday?
I think as a supporter, as a fan, We have to beat them, for pride. We have to beat them.
Breaking rights.
All the breaker, we have to beat these guys. But from football, football point of view and the context, which is the league, I don't think we have to beat Paris. Paris is the one that has to beat Mamelodi Sundowns at all costs.
Yep.
So a draw against Paris is the same as we never played a game. I don't know if you follow me. You understand? So a win, it will be just a bonus from football context point of view. But from bragging rights point of view, as a fan, I think we really need to beat them. But as I think the pressure is on them. I think the pressure is on them. They're the guys who need to take the game to us. They're the ones who need to reduce the gap. And definitely, the pressure is not on Mamelodi Sundowns.
Agree with you, and I love the fact that you answered it in two ways that I didn't think of. When I was thinking of the questions. Obviously for the bragging rights, we want that. We want that win against Pirates. Pirates to say no, we always beat you guys in the league. We always beat you guys at your home. But with the other side, when you look at it, technical team point of view, it really isn't a must win for us. A draw will be okay. A win is a bonus. And like you said, this is definitely a 6-pointer for them. It is a must win for Pirates and not for us, Mamelodi Sundowns Football Club. Because the other thing that people keep talking about, 4 games that Pirates have in hand, forgetting more, these 4 games. I saw a tweet this morning, actually. Someone said things are the same as they were. I think it was Football Tab, if I'm not mistaken. Things are the same as they were before Game Year Golden Arrows. After a Game Year Golden Arrows, not because we have both played 2 more games since then. So things have changed now since that last game. Let's get into the type of approach that we both expect. What do you expect from both sides from this game, maybe?
Yeah. So Azo, I think Pirates are in trouble. From your last comment that you made, I was just thinking the same thing. Prior to this interview, Pirates are in trouble. The tables have turned. Before we played Pirates, we played a well-rested team, and we had to approach the game in a different way, like our coach said, that from the pitch point of view and also from the games that we played point of view, we're going to approach this game in a different way, and we played mostly over the defenders and in transitions, and that's how we had Orlando Pirates. Now it's different. Sundowns, for the first time, they had a 5 days rest before we played the game of Amazulu. After a long time, first time after a long time. And now, after Amazulu, we had 4 days before we played Paris. So Paris have been traveling, the country from the East Coast to the West Coast. Inland, they went to the East Coast. Inland, they went to the West Coast, playing their games. So, and also they were very close to each other. And those games were very tense, and very intensive. A game of super sport where they went all the way to 120 minutes. Even the game before that of Cape Town City, where Cape Town City led and they won the game right at the death of the game. That was a very taxing game for them, and they went and played super sport. Yeah. Super sport that, in my opinion, they're struggling just like Cape Town City, and it took them to extra 2 penalties, and all the super sports in extra time, especially, also they would have won that game. I think Saile missed just obvious chances the last 15 minutes of the second half of the extra time. So, and they went to play in Cape Town against Stellenbosch, which was also a difficult game for them. But you could see when they played over 60 minutes with 10 men, the chances they created. There were no obvious scoring chances, and you can see even from the body language of the players that the fatigue is starting to creep in, especially in their key players. So Pirates have 2 very important, in my opinion, important players I know we differ a lot with a lot of my football friends in this one. I said to them, for me, the spine of Orlando Pirates is Dion Hoto and Katleni Makaula. So those two guys are the guys who are very important to do the starting lineup or to Orlando Pirates for them to win games. You know, obviously Maketleni in the midfield in terms of neutralizing and winning all those second balls and breaking up play and so on. And Hoto in terms of creating possibilities, you know, winning them games and helping them to win games. So I picked up one thing lately that Hoto is the graph on Hoto is just going down, you know. I don't know if it's fatigue creeping in because Hoto, just like Mufokeng, is playing each and every game. You understand? The man is 34, 35, if I'm not mistaken. So the past 3 games that I've seen Hoto been playing has not been the normal Hoto who was on fire from the beginning of the season. Similar to Maketleni Makaula, similar to Makatleni Makaula. And Makatleni Makaula is a bit worse because he doesn't finish games. You know, I think past 2 games, if not 3, Jose Rivero has been taking him out halfway second half. You know, whether they're winning or they're looking for a win, he goes out. So to show that the engine is starting to have too much. So unfortunately, Paras do not have a depth in quality. You know, we can argue that in terms of people how they see players. I refuse, and I don't think they do have. You'll see currently that players like Mbokazi, they are young defender at the back, you know, and Leon Rosie that they started to introduce. Those 2 players, they never played at the beginning of the season. ISO. So they're bringing them in a critical phase where they do not have a choice. You know, they do not have a choice because the key players like your Nda and your Sesane, who were doing very well beginning of the season, they are no longer they're still injured. You know, and you have a player like Hoto. Not Hoto, player like Koki, you know, who just came back from injury. In my opinion, I think Koki was rushed. You know, was rushed. That's why Koki is still struggling. You know, to adapt to the demands of the game and the pace of the game. You know, so I think they don't have a choice again. They introduced him early and he struggled. You saw the game against Ghana, what happened to him, and they had to put him out. And Jose had to bring in the young Mbokazi to come and fill up that void. You know, and again when you relieve players like Mofokeng, it becomes difficult. Who do you put in? You know, because you don't have many options on a bench who will give you close to the same quality in that regard. And the same as Young Nkota. Young Nkota was introduced in Paris. I believe it's my observation that he was introduced because of unavailability of Monna Saleh. You know, it's a big loss. I don't want to lie to you. The unavailability of Monna Saleh, it's a big loss for Orlando Pirates. You know, they had to find answers, and they called the Ankota, who did very well. You know, at the beginning of the games that they gave him, they're similar to Mbokazi, the games that he already paid. The boy, I think, imposed himself very well. But here's the catch: those are still young players, and you come into the critical phase of the season. You know, the last part of the league and coming to the Champions League and all that. You cannot expect. That's why you see again the graph of your Ngota is going down. You know, it's not that Ngota there's anything wrong with him in terms of his capabilities and his skills. It's not about that. The way he was introduced, you know, he was not introduced the way Mofokeng was introduced. Remember, Mofokeng started last season as a substitute. I just introduced him. That's why you see Mofokeng the way he's playing this season, because he's more like a senior player. You understand? Now, Ngota was more of an emergency player because they had silent issues. And I didn't expect him to be able to carry them all the way to end of the season or big or critical games, you know, the must-win games. I don't think he'll be able to do that, including Mbokazi. I think it's just a matter of time. The young man also to start looking for answer, which he won't find, you know, on the pitch. So I think in that regard, they have issues. They have issues, Pirates, in terms of not having their core players and also have played a lot of games like we did in a short space of time, and without having depth and quality, that puts them in a very difficult space. And just the last one is Tito. I saw Tito when he took a penalty against Super Sports. You saw how he kicked that penalty, and I don't know how did you see him working back to their line. Tito was limping. So it's another thing. I think Tito was also rushed. Tito was rushed quickly. He come from muscle strain injury, and I think Tito was rushed quickly because they need him. They don't have capacity, to come and help them to win the games. And with the demand of the season, the second half of the season demands a lot because clubs are fighting for relegation, to avoid relegation. Clubs are fighting for top 8, top 3, CAF Fed Sport, and so on. So it becomes difficult for the whole club to cope, especially given all the competitions they play in. So, but maybe quickly as well, I think from Orlando Pirates, we just need to be careful about their wingers. Young Fokeng, I think they'll have Hoto up front. They won't start in Nkota. I don't think they'll start in Nkota. They'll do like they did in the first half, and they'll bring back Marco. I do not think they will play a Hoto at the back, and in the midfield, I still believe. I don't think Bata is ready, Bata also got out from injury, if you remember, with Super Sports, and he didn't play last games. I don't see them bringing him back now without like a game time. I think they will start with Mosele and Makahleli Makaula. They won't do a mistake they did first when we played them in Loftus, when we beat them 4-1, to come with 2 tens, Tito and Gabriel Lamine, and just have Makahleli Makaula. So they won't do that because they'll get more than 4, I can tell you, if they do that. I think they're going to have Mosele and Makaula. I still think they'll start Cabello in front of them. They'll still have Tito on the bench because Tito is not ready. I don't think Tito is ready to play a game that is gonna be facing on Saturday. So at the back, I think that's where big problems are gonna be. With Sibisi and young Bokazi. I don't think they can put the young man. I don't know. They don't have many options to put the young man in the deep end like that. Imagine facing your Ribeiro, Shalulile, and Reyners, young Bokazi. So it's going to be interesting who Tsibisi is going to pair, because if they bring Koki again, I don't think Koki is ready. Like I said to you, it's just going to be worse. So I'd rather bring Koki for his experience, honestly, even if he's not 100% ready, than bringing a young Bokazi, because they're just going to expose the young man, and possibly kill his career, because it's going to be too much to deal with your Ribeiro, Shalulile, and Reyners. So. Honestly, this Paris is a Paris that I'm ready to play. I think this Paris is the Paris that is up for the taking, as compared to the Paris that we played with in Loftus. That I can tell you without doubt.
I know. When you saw me smiling when you mentioned Paseka Marco, if they play Paseka at left back, we are gonna tear the menu, and I'm telling you, man. I hope they play Paseka at left back, and yeah, man. I expect a carbon copy of the game here Loftus, in a sense, this is a must-win for them. They cannot sit back and say, no, we'll invite Sundowns and catch them on transition. Sundowns can sit back and say, no, we'll play cheap ball for 90 minutes. So they will have to play on the front foot, be offensive, take the game to Sundowns, And once they do that, they will open gaps all over that huge FNB pitch. And I think this will suit us. So they have no option but to attack in this game. You spoke about Imam Hoto playing up front. And I think that you spoke about his importance when you started. I think their left side is the strongest, with Hoto expanding at left back and Rele in front of him, And I have a feeling, Ribeiro, why do I keep calling our coach Ribeiro? Cardoso will be smart like he was in the first round, where he instead of having Ribeiro as a right forward, he'll most probably have Shalulile there so that he can track a hold, because that's what Shalulile did in that game, mostly in the second half. After, I remember when they scored, and Debza, except like Debza looked at the bench and said, we have issues in the middle of the park and on the right, and Cardoso changed it. So I think Shalulile, because of his work rate, will be there, and on the right to track Roto, And I think we'll play some sort of a 4-4-2 diamond, but not your normal 4-4-2 diamond with the 10 and the 2 strikers right inside, like close to the box, like straight to the box, like in the zone 14 area. I think the 2 strikers will play as wide forwards. I'm not sure if I'm not making sense, especially when Pirates are in possession, so that they can track their fullbacks and their wide forwards. But as soon as we get possession, they can come and be in and around the zone 14 area. And I think that's Ribeiro will be the one who is more central in this game, so that he can cause them damage like he did at Loftus. Remember the 2 goals that he scored? He was central in both goals. He was staying in the central position, and we are used to him coming from the half space, wide space, half space, and then the central space. But in that game, he was central when we scored those goals. I think you spoke about Maswangan. I think they will risk him even if he's not 100% fit. They need creativity, and I think they need that someone that who can make things happen. So I think they might have no option but to risk him in this game. Like you, I think we need to target the young man Mbokazi. Like you mentioned, he's played so well ever since he made his debut. But this, if he does start, will be his biggest game, the biggest game of his career so far. And he's still very young. Facing that front three Sundowns, man, it gives experienced players a torrid time. So what of a youngster, And the other thing, you spoke about their tiredness. They're starting to look leggy. That pitch is big, my brother. We need to, in possession, we need to make it big, stretch them, get them out of their comfortable positions, and exploit space when it becomes available. Yet when they are in possession, we need to be compact, and make them go wide, try and open them and get them as far away as possible from goal. So I think that's how we need to approach this game. Your lineup, please, William.
Yeah, so my lineup, I will start with Williams at the back. So I was a bit conflicted with this one between Morena and Modau, who to start, because obviously I need to look at that threat on the same side. I really don't think we that under threat. I'll start Morena, and the reason why I'll start Morena, I want Morena to assist in creativity. Modau is big good defender. But in terms of going forward, Morena will assist us in getting a goal or 2 in the first half. And in the center, I'll have Grand pairing Saurus. On the left hand side, I was also conflicted because if I start Morena this side, I need to start a person who sit back that other side. So I wanted Aubrey, but this time I start the young Tiwani if Tiwani is fit and available to play in the middle. The tried and tested, Debza Alend is coming back. I saw they arrested him last time for that 4th yellow card risk, and also the young Jaden Adams. So up front three, my front will be Ribeiro, Shalulile, and Reyners.
Okay. And we have almost similar lineup. Please say that again.
No, I was saying Williams. I don't know if I mentioned the goalkeeper.
Yeah, you did when you started. You did, yeah. We have similar lineups. The only difference in the left back position, I will have Obza ahead of Tiwani. But what you're saying actually makes sense or no? He's solid defending. It give us that balance at the back, man. Scoreline?
I think we're gonna win 3-0.
You clearly don't want.
Yeah. So can I ask you something?
You don't want Sundowns. Yeah, say that again.
I was saying, can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I said 3-0. I think we're gonna win 3-0. Trust me. So the game plan that you spoke about, that Paris is the one that they need to come to us. We agree, and they need to play with intensity and all. Do you think in the big pitch, like you said, and with the games they just played now, and the energy levels they showed against SuperSport and against Stellenbosch, they will be able to play that way with a well-rested team? That is my question.
I do not think they would want to do that, but I think the situation forces them to do that, because this is one game they can't say a draw is fine in this game. No, a draw is not fine. You must leave that stadium with 3 points if you harbor any hopes of winning this league championship. So I think they will say, let's give it a go. First half, Arjen Kakaracha, and try and get a goal, maybe. And if we get a goal, we can try sit back and, defend that goal. They don't have an option. They cannot sit back and wait for Sundowns. Sundowns can go there and pass the ball around for 90 minutes and we go back home and we are happy, my man. We are so much out of time, Mehmet. My score prediction is 2-1. Yours, I think, if it does happen, you guys will have to be escorted out of FNB, and I won't be there to help you guys after the game. Thank you very much, Mehmet, for joining me, man. Thank you, Masandawana, for watching. Please continue subscribing, man. Until next time, sharp, Masandawana, sharp, Mehmet.
Thanks, Azu. Have a good evening.